Hi everyone and welcome back on adobelive.com. We are still live and this is the last live stream from San Diego. So best for the best of us.
Yeah.
Victoria.
The best.
Yeah,
Just
the
kidding.
best.
There's so many talented people
obviously,
here.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So yeah, Victoria will be with us for 1 hour, more or less, and present her work. Maybe you want to introduce yourself.
So my name is Victoria Siemer. I'm also pretty well known as Victoria. It's what the alias I make all my artwork under.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of surreal digital manipulation work. I was super happy to be a speaker here at Max this year. I've had an amazing time. It's been a whirlwind.
Is it your first Adobe Max?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've also never done a speaking engagement before, so that was pretty wild. I'm used to hiding behind my computer in Photoshop.
Not this time. Not this time, Victoria.
But I'm coming out of my shell.
So yeah, hi everyone. Maybe you can let us know in the chat where you are from. And you know, I have a surprise for you, people in the chat. I will show you a picture design created by Victoria. Are you ready? We should do that.
Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah. She's the one who inspired, designed, created the Adobe Max logo this year. Maybe you can talk later about this series, but I mean, I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been kind of crazy. Like also seeing it this big behind me right now is like pretty mind-blowing. I never imagined it would be this large, but it's all over the place. It's on everybody's Max badges.
Yeah, and it has been the background of our stream like for 3 days.
Like 10,000 people are wearing my photos right now.
Oh. But over the 3 days, yes.
Yeah.
Like much more than...
More?
Oh yeah, much more. So yeah, so that's cool. So I think we have people in the chat. Feel free to ask questions, you know, to Victoria. We will do a giveaway at some point because that's a live stream. We will go crazy and give a 1-year Creative Cloud subscription to someone in the chat. So stay tuned, okay? We will explain how it works. And we have people, from California, people clapping. Okay, so that's good. So you want to, show...
Can they see this?
Just ask, just do this.
That's so what do we want to get into? How should we start this? I have a lot of my aesthetic range is kind of all over the place.
Okay.
We could start just with the Max logo since we're at Max if we want.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I'll just
open up. The idea is just like for
actually
for
I can just like I can straight up just like open up the same file that I'm sitting in front of, which is sort of trippy.
Inception.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh, also I need to hide these grids.
Yeah, Alexandre, don't show off. But yeah, Alexandre is one of the guy in the chat who already won a 1-year Creative Cloud subscription. Just being with us, just being active. So that's cool.
You better use it every day.
Okay, so this is the original file.
So
where did you take this picture?
First, let me
look at this landscape.
So
I'm
going to turn off all the layers. We're just going to get.
Was it on Earth or you had
this
to?
This is. I actually went to Mars.
Oh, okay. That's
it was a really crazy budget this year.
And we have money.
So this is actually in San Diego County. This is Anza Borrego. It's a desert about 2 hours north of the city limits.
I saw it from the plane window.
Yes, it's the craziest place I've ever been. I actually went back right before Max this year. I shot this in late February, early March, and then I drove back because I only got to spend 8 hours there when I was shooting with AJ and Kashka.
The Adobe Studio team.
Yeah, the studio team who brought me in on this project, and we went on this crazy excursion. We had no idea what we were going to see, and we went to Fonts Point, which is the point you're looking out from over here. You're on this crazy cliff, and it's like the drop-off's like 500 feet.
Wow.
And we got there right at dusk because we couldn't find it because Google Maps, I warn you if any of you do this, Google Maps does not take you to the right Fonts Point. You have to Google someone else's directions.
So if you are lost in the desert, Google Maps will help.
But we finally found it, and it's the coolest place I've ever been, so I went back.
Is there a Starbucks?
Right before, right at the top, actually. Wow. There's 3. Actually, this time when I went, there was nobody else there. When I went before, there was kind of this
a group.
I don't know if you guys have ever gone out and when you're shooting landscapes, photographers are sort of protective. Like not me. Like I'm totally welcome for like anyone who wants to get the same shot as me because I mean we're all going to end up getting the same shot, anyways. But they're being very protective of their like spots they had that they had scoped out. This time I went and it was completely empty, which was amazing. There was nobody for miles. So I shot a bunch of photos the other day, and I'm excited to kind of start playing with those again. I spent 3 days in the desert this time, instead of just 8 hours. And then that kind of got me in my like meditative state for doing my talk and Max and everything else.
Cool. And then from this picture, I mean, the concept of the logo is to extrude in a way, three N, A, and X, like the three layers of Max. Mm-hmm.
So this is
But this is something inspired by one of your works.
Yeah, so this is based, I actually have my Behance sort of open.
Yeah, and I will put the link to your Behance account for our friends in the chat.
Geometric Reflections. I had this series that's been going on for a while called Geometric Reflections. I've been taking geometric forms and flipping them and using masks in a variety of ways to create these interesting compositions. And I don't know like how quick the refresh feed is, but I'll just scroll through some of these. But I recommend just clicking the link and kind of scrolling through them.
Yeah, they have the link now.
Yourselves, but what happened was this got featured in an Adobe Create article, and it caught the eyes of Kashka and AJ, and they were like, wait a second, our logo is made of geometric shapes.
Bingo.
Ding, ding, ding. And so we had a call, and we started kind of, ideating, and a couple like loose mock-ups later, they were like, fly out to San Diego, let's
do it.
Let's shoot some photos and see what happens.
But I saw...
And it ended up working out fantastically.
So yeah, for Max in San Diego, but I also saw, I've seen also some series of exactly the same content, but with pictures from Tokyo.
Yeah, so what happened was once we did where the conference was going to be, I set up a template that we could invite other photographers to participate in, so it became more of a worldwide affair than just like one identity. Okay. Because Max is all over the world. I mean, I've met people from everywhere. Yeah. And it's been amazing also to see other people's interpretations of, because I have a very particular way of doing it, but my brain's not the same as other brains. Yeah. So I can give someone the same file that I've created, and it's never going to come out the same when someone else is working with it, which I think is fantastic. I love when I see things interpreted by other people. Yeah.
Great.
So I think the first thing I did on this file, just because it's a little blown out, it was super, super sunny that day, was just like darken the sky a little bit because it was like a little crazy. But this technique is extremely simple if you're familiar with masks. It's you take a geometric shape. In this situation, the shape is the logo M, which I recreated in Illustrator, but extended a bit because it's much shorter normally. And to get the effect, you want a little bit extra space at the bottom so that you can actually mask a little more image out. And so what you do, I could actually probably just like delete this and do it all over again. I'm gonna actually, we're just gonna do it live again. So bam, here's the M.
Yeah.
I've imported it from Illustrator as a smart object. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna duplicate.
Sean wants me to, yeah, but it's to keep the microphone, Sean. It's not to play it like in the 70s.
Bam. Just move that right above our M. And pow! You got a clip and mask? Usually I move it. Oh, actually, the funny thing I just realized, it's actually a different image that I use as the reflection. But we'll just do this one really quickly so you can see the technique.
Just the process,
and then I'll show you sometimes what I do is, a lot of times it's the same image reflected, but that gets a little boring looking sometimes, especially on flatter landscapes like this.
Oh, yeah. So you take another shot.
Yeah, what am I looking at here? I'm gonna go hardness. I barely ever use hardness unless I'm collaging. We just kind of, yeah, there she goes.
There we go.
But here you can see that this was the first test I did.
Yeah.
And it's not the same as this one. If I go back and you look, before I deleted the image, this other one, if I disable the layer mask, or actually release the clipping mask, is actually a different shot from the same point. And it's really easy to still pull off the trick this way when you're shooting from the same location, because all of the color fields are the same, and it's the same area, but you're not necessarily giving them the exact same thing flipped upside down. You're giving a new kind of
texture,
landscape in this this technique, which is super fun. I've been doing that actually more and more recently, especially with the cityscape ones, because I don't want it to look like a mirror. I want it, but I want it to be the same because it has to belong with the photo below it.
Yeah, we had someone in the chat saying, "Oh, that's cool that we see the process logo," and he was wondering about the third letter, actually, about the X.
The X?
Yeah.
Let me see. I've got it somewhere. It's probably on this hard drive, actually. I don't think I have it whipped out right now.
Because the X is the most complex shape, I would say, because there are... You use two different triangles. I mean.
Forgive me for my messy file naming conventions.
Oh, that's fine.
I am human chaos.
Yeah. Well, we're all messy. We have this survey sometimes in the chat where we ask, do you name your layers?
Final 1, final 8, final, I'm actually serious, it's going to be final this time.
Oh.
Just kidding, final
Finally
again.
final.
Finally final. Now here we go. I wonder if this is, I have so many, there's like, I'm also a file hoarder, so every time I change something in a way that only I can see that it's changed, like I've literally moved it like 6 pixels. I'm like, I've got to keep it just in case. I need this palm tree 6 pixels to the left someday down the road. Okay. Let's see what.
So was it shot like on the same day?
No,
like you did anything?
No, so I was in San Diego for about 10 days or a week. 7 to 10 days, and I sort of planned out. AJ lives here, so I had I had great insight into some of the great photo locations. This is Sunset Cliffs. If anyone's at Max right now and they're not flying out tonight, I highly recommend going there. Just take an Uber over. It's like 15, 20 minutes, and just watch the sunset there. It's pretty fantastic. It's like exactly what you imagine like the West Coast to be. And so this was shot there. I think this was shot one of the last days I was there, but I went there a few times. I also went up to Torrey Pines and did Black's Beach, which we were unaware was a nude beach, and I showed up with a telephoto lens, which was super weird. But we got some great shots. We just didn't end up using them. And we shot downtown from across the bay. And I also shot the Coronado Bridge and a whole bunch of places, but we ended up solidifying it to these like kind of
iconic places, and then you just pick 3.
Yeah. We didn't want to be like too iconic with everything. Like I think the downtown was enough, and then you can get these other like really beautiful elements, because San Diego has so many different types of landscapes and terrains. I mean, it's a very vibrant city. It was really cool to check it out. This logo was actually, so it's 2 smart objects, because we wanted to get the reflection to kind of show that fold. So what we have here, if I turn these off, is you can see there's one smart object here where I've preemptively added a little bit of fade so it gives the shadow. And then we also have one down here, and it takes some playing. It doesn't initially work right away always, but you've got these 2 flexible, like this would look crazy.
Oh yeah.
So it took some nuancing to get it to work with some of the images, but when you have water, it was really easy to kind of extend this and have that fold sort of, it's a fake fold created, but just with a trick of the eye. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so, but these were so fun to work on. It was a fantastic project. I'm super happy to have been brought on board for it. Yeah.
No, it's great. Do you want other series you want to share with us?
Let's
Are you
see.
working on
Let's see. What's the most recent one? I just collaborated. Well, I did just to extend one more reflection. I just did a collaboration with Swopes, Elise Swopes. You guys are probably familiar with her if you know my work at all. We both do crazy weird manipulations. She does this really cool wavy city effect, and we had to collaborate on a piece for the first time together. So we worked together she shot Chicago, and we together took her technique and made the cityscape wavy, and then also reflected it and kind of added these little sparkly star things that kind of drip down from one city into the other. And then we also pushed it to be super trippy looking with all we went kind of ham in Lightroom. To kind of like Exit the Void. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but it has a very sort of Tokyo vibe, but it's New York City with the neons and the blues.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to show that. It was really fun.
Yeah. I like also the way...
Actually, it was not the warp tool. I used Wave, which I actually have not used in the longest time. I can't even remember where it is. Yeah, it's under Distort. Yeah, Wave, and it takes a little because there's not a preview, so you got to kind of.
So you have to.
There's a little preview, but you have to take some or Ripple. I tried a whole bunch of things, but I think it was either Wave or. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Wave. But it was one of these. I'm usually just kind of live toying around with things, so I'm I don't even remember sometimes what I'm doing. But it turned out really amazing. It was super, super fun to work with her. We did have a process back and forth because when you're in two different cities, sometimes it's kind of crazy to work together because there's a certain way to shoot photos so you can reflect them. You can't have the angle too low. You need the horizon to be sort of empty. You can't have a lot of clouds in the sky. Or you could, but usually that starts to get in the way of the image gets really chaotic. So we went through a few photos and we did I did some test reflections, and then finally we settled on this one, and we worked together from 600 miles away back and forth through the Creative Cloud and made something amazing. I'm really proud of this one.
Online collaboration, that's great.
It was super fun.
DJ says that it looks like a head in the sky.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Nice. I see a medusa, with electric.
I always kind of see a jellyfish.
Yeah, jellyfish, sorry. That's medusa is the French word.
I do photo composites in After Effects. I don't think I have any of my After Effects files on me right now.
Oh, what do you do with
so what happens is sometimes I get a little I've been photoshopping for 10 years, and I love Photoshop's the love of my life. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I feel like I'm getting a little stagnant. And so what I do is I start to push myself to take the techniques that I've become so comfortable with in Photoshop and then relearn them and make them move in After Effects and Premiere Pro, which is super fun. It's actually surprising how similar After Effects is to Photoshop. Yeah. I didn't realize.
I call After Effects for me is Photoshop with a timeline.
I think I even have one of the live ones.
That's exactly that. You have the layers, you have the blend modes. The only thing that they add is a timeline.
Yeah.
So now there is a timeline in Photoshop. So it's a bit confusing.
What would it be?
What would it be?
Imager.com/Victoria.
And you export what? Animated GIF or?
So this one. Facebook, I was going to show you guys that, but Facebook and Instagram just destroy video quality. So I ended up making it a cinemagraph, so it just is this beautiful looping.
Loop. Wow.
This was a collaboration I did with this artist 20, number 2, Wenty. He is amazing. He actually does a lot of what looks like manipulation work, but it's done in camera, and it's obsessive and beautiful and insane, and I definitely recommend. He does GIFs with film cameras, with light painting. So he's actually and then he develops it, and then he's developing 60 of the same, well, not the same, but subtly different shots, which is just amazing. I just do everything digitally because that's me. But yeah, no, I do. I like to make things move, and it adds something to these, this series where it's alive now, and it feels more real, and then the surreal effect becomes stronger because it's come alive, and it totally, your eyes kind of look all over the place, and I don't know. So I'm going to do more of these.
Oh yeah, that's great.
It is just time consuming.
And they love it. Gorgeous. That's awesome. Love it. Yeah.
I do use Lightroom a lot. I didn't used to use Lightroom at all. I just started using that recently, which will transition me into showing some of my newer work.
Okay.
This is a sort of a mix of the newer work together, but it's the only PSD I have out. Oh, I forgot to load the font. What you doing there, little buddy? So I have this new series called You Don't Own Me, which I'm trying to think of where I have all of them living right now. Give me 1 second.
On Instagram, maybe?
So I use my emotions in my artwork quite a bit. They are on Instagram, actually. That's a good point. They're all on Instagram. What am I doing here? Instagram.com/Victoria. Okay. So if you scroll down a little bit, I have this new series called You Don't Own Me. I really love puns. Anyone who gets to know me knows I'm obsessed with puns, so I try to slip them in everything I can. And this one, I'm playing off an old series that used to be a day-to-night series, where I would take photos from the day and actually use Photoshop completely to make these illuminated landscapes. Oh, okay. And it sort of evolved in the desert when I was with AJ. If I scroll down a little bit further. This is the first one I shot ever. We were kind of driving back and on this from Fons Point on this insane 4-wheel drive only back road. And I was like, stop. And so I make him stop the car and I get out and I tape gels to his headlights. And it stained the whole landscape really wildly. And I was like, ooh, there's something to this. So I did a whole bunch of shots just from the headlights from his Jeep. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. And this little smoky effect is from me actually kicking the dirt and running back and forth. I looked like a crazy person. It was really funny. They were all cracking up. I think they tried to record a video, but I don't remember what happened to it. But I looked insane. It was really funny. And when I got home and I was looking through the images, I opened them in Lightroom. And this is actually probably one of the first times so in February is actually when I really started using Lightroom. And I started kind of taking what I had blown out with these gels and kind of playing with it a little more and tinkering with it to push it even further or put some tones back and put a little other coloring here and there.
Okay.
And then I juxtaposed in this type. I work with type all the time, and in this case I wanted it to be a little bit more like neon. And at first I had them on the ground, and because I put all the other ones on the ground, and then I was like, there are no rules. So I just made it float. It doesn't have to be real. It's my art. So I broke my rules and I just kind of had these, I even put fake little brackets in because I thought maybe they should stand, and then I was like, no, they can just float.
They can fly.
So I just kind of put these free floating messages in these stained desert landscapes. And then I went to the woods and I started shooting them more, and I started adding more gels, and then I started to use things besides car headlights and started light painting, and it's kind of evolved in this crazy series. But most of it's a lot less Photoshop work. It's shot more in camera. The only real Photoshop work is in the typography, which in a few of them, I can get a close-up of one of these later. I actually put it behind a whole bunch of really tiny branches, which nobody on Instagram is going to see, but I know it's there, so I feel good about it.
Do you print your pictures sometimes?
I do. I've been kind of creeping towards the gallery scene a bit. I'm not sure if it's for me yet. I'm kind of that really weird design photo, but now also fine art hybrid where I'm not sure exactly how I exist in those spaces yet, because there's not a check mark that a toggle for what I would be doing. When I look at websites like Working Not Working, and they say what do you do to get freelance work? And it's am I a photographer or am I a graphic designer? Because you can only be one on websites like that.
I see what you mean.
And I'm both. And I think a lot of people are hybrids right now, and
more and more.
There's a lot of multidisciplinary people out there, and I'm excited to kind of see how all of this is going to shift and what is going to happen with those roles and titles that we're so used to. And are we going to continue to be hyper specialized, or is everyone going to sort of become an expert in a multitude of areas?
And this is what we see. I mean, and also this is something that motivated Creative Cloud actually. Just give access to creative people to everything, and not just one or two apps. Because you are perfect proof, because you work in Photoshop, and then at some point you say, "Oh my God, this works to be animated," and then you jump to After Effects. I mean, you have it, and you learn how to use it, and you create this animated
Well, I started technically in TV production in high school.
Oh yeah.
So I learned Premiere Pro actually before Photoshop.
Oh, okay.
Strangely enough, I wanted to be a news anchor, so this is very comfortable for me. But I ended up learning all those skills and not realizing I was going to do something with it. And then later, like down the road, I kept tinkering, but just for myself. And then somehow in college, I just made the transition, and I had this base of skills already, though, which made it way easier to transition, I guess, because I didn't start from scratch later down the road. I already knew how to use Photoshop and Premiere Pro and like baby After Effects. I still do tutorials all the time, though. Like, I did one the other day, like when I was kind of going over everything for my talk, just to make sure I had a full view of like being able to answer any question that was thrown at me.
Just in case.
But yeah, no, and especially for things I don't know, like After Effects as well. I'm definitely a step-by-step tutorial, not a video tutorial person, but I'm gonna try to. A lot of people came up to me after my talk and they wanted me to make tutorials about a lot of the stuff that I make, and I'm totally down. But I need to take the time because I want to do a video one, but I also want people who learn like me, where I like things listed out, so I can kind of scroll through and just pick what I need, because I already know Photoshop pretty well, so I don't need to watch the whole video. I usually need to just find like the one piece that's missing, where I'm like, what? How do I do this? And so I want to do both, because I know that people learn in different ways, and I'll probably start with the geometric reflections, because that's baby steps in, and then kind of work up to some of the more complex ones with like the day to night and all that stuff. This actually, someone mentioned in the chat, this is called lip service. I have a new series of skin impressions I've been doing. This actually is not Photoshopped.
Yeah, that's what
I mean, it's photo retouched. The only Photoshop is the Y didn't sit in her lip correctly, so I ended up having to kind of like fake the Y a little bit from a whole bunch of images. But I actually laser cut letters. Like I set up all like I like A, like E, like a million things, and I like laser cut a gajillion letters in acrylic. And actually, I'm probably going to redo it now, because eyes, when they're like this skinny and you're trying to press them, they flip sideways. So I need to get it so it has like the brackets instead of the like Helvetica eye. But it was kind of inspired by when women wear clothing, a lot of times we get like marks from taking like bras off, and also I had this moment where I like fell asleep and I pulled a quarter off of me. Like I fell asleep and there was like change in my pocket or something, and the quarter was pressed perfectly where you could still see the words and the detail, even though it's a quarter. It's not, it didn't press in hard, it didn't hurt. It just sat there for long enough to press into my skin and leave this temporary, like very fleeting moment of
like you can
of a design.
You can read a design.
And so I cut all these letters out and I started testing it, and I was surprised how well they worked on lips. Lips also, you're able to shoot over and over again because they heal so quickly, and it kind of like gives you the ability to shoot it again. A lot of skin, like you get one
Laura wants to say goodbye.
Oh. Hello.
Sorry, I'm leaving, like completely leaving.
Oh no, you don't get to do the taco tour. I planned a taco tour, guys. I'm really excited about it. I put a lot of work into it.
Goodbye.
See you soon in Europe.
Have a nice time.
Safe travels.
I wish I could listen, but I'm leaving.
But the lip is resilient. So when
you try on?
I've tried it on lots and lots of body parts, and I've found that it doesn't work with all types of people. So some people, when you press something in, they get really, really, really red. Oh, okay. Or when you press it in, it just doesn't work. Like their skin's like, nope. Like I don't know.
Like chewing gum, you know.
Yeah, just like completely rejects my attempts at putting design work on it. But her lips, this is probably actually one of the best photos I've ever shot as a photographer. What's also funny is I'm using these dinky little LED lights that are $20 each on Amazon, and kind of just holding them to her face like this. Pretty much all my photo equipment's like that now. I buy expensive equipment, and then I find that I really like the cheap stuff way better, so I just use that instead. But yeah, no, I pressed it in her lips, and with some trial and error, because at first I tried it on the side of her face, but then it looked too much like the Joker, and that movie had just come out, and I was just like, oh shoot. So we waited day 2, And we tried this, and it's like one of my favorite pieces I've ever done. This is one of the ones that I'm going to try to bring with me to one of the off fairs at Art Basel this year.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to try to do more when I get back. I just cut more letters out, so hopefully it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of weird little messages I'm ready to press into skin. If you're in New York City and you'd like to be a skin model, let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other?
Yeah, looks great.
Any other questions?
Very natural looking.
Should we just keep?
Yeah.
So I guess we can get into. Let's see what we have going on here. This one is a mix of like
you were talking
a whole
about
bunch of. Oh, I already have it open. A whole bunch of things at the same time. So this is a day to night photo. It's also shot in San Diego. It's one of the photos we didn't use. And anything I don't use, I use for myself. And it's also one of my folded landscapes. So it's like a whole bunch of things at the same time. So for this particular one, this one has like a ton of weird layers and experiments. If I just start turning everything off.
We'll ask our friends in the chat because we were talking about hybrid profiles, creatives using more and more apps. Let us know in the chat how many Creative Cloud apps you can use, like how to use. That would be interesting.
Oh wait, oh my God, there's so many layers here.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm going down to the bottom. I just want to see what the original looked like.
Do you pen sometimes in Photoshop?
Oh my God, wait, I need to paint?
Yeah.
No, I'm like the worst painter on earth. I use Adobe Draw now. I have the iPad Pro, the Apple Pencil, and I have these funky hand tremors, so I have a hard time drawing on actual paper because I don't have an undo button, but with Adobe Draw, I can get this really, really amazing movement, and if I do have a little moment where my hand slips, I can always just undo it, and then I can also transfer it to vector. And that's how I did
you see, they use 4, 5, 6 apps, 4 apps.
Yeah, I go all over the place. Yeah, you guys are all over them. Oh yeah, Illustrator is very important. I used to hate it when I was in undergrad, and now I use it for everything in my real job.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's tough to learn. I admit.
But this is the type of stuff I do with Adobe Draw. So I make these little constellations. If you scroll through my feed, I won't put them all up right now because they're not all appropriate. As a fair warning to everybody here. But this particular one is safe to share.
One is okay.
But yeah, what I want to do is get into one of the easier ones so I can just show. I really am obsessed with day to night. I first started tinkering with it when I was inspired by my friends who are filmmakers, and for some reason it just dawned on me. I was like, they're always shooting during the day, and it's for these night scenes or during dusk, and it's all fake. They shoot the actors and actresses in daylight, and they in post make it nighttime.
Okay.
And I was like, wait a second, I can do that too. And so I took the same idea and I started applying it to my photo work, where I started shooting these images at dusk, or in the beginning using stock images so I could practice.
Good point.
You can't always go out. I'm not in the desert. I live in New York City, and I'm a landscape artist, so you don't really see a lot of cityscapes in my photography. So sometimes I do use stock, and it happens. So it's called Illuminated. I've got a lot of these. Let's find a good one. Actually, I have one open on my desktop from my talk. Here we go. I don't have my fonts right now because I had to restart my computer because it broke the other day, but we're gonna pretend that this doesn't look disgusting. So let's just turn all these layers off. So this is the original photo. This is actually a stock photo. It's just sunset. When you use this technique, you can't really use bright daylight because, or you can, but you're gonna have to manipulate the sky a lot because the sky is gonna come through, and if you have these overblown areas or a lot of shadows, it kind of takes away from the effect. So you want these kind of soft box.
The contrast will be too
seeming images. The first thing you do to do this day to night effect is just, you can use blue or black. I usually add I think it's at also like 30%. Just I like to use shapes because I can change them later, but you can just do a fill, and you can play with how dark you want it to be. It usually depends on the image. Because this image is so light, I just did like 30% for a fill. And then you usually just bump the curves a little bit and make it even darker, so it's really starting to feel more like it's becoming a night shot. And then, of course, in movies, everything is blue at night. So you add a blue photo filter.
But just in movies.
Yeah, well, not in your, yeah, definitely not. It's just pitch black for my eyes at night. And then what I do is I put in the type. And the first time I did this, I used to put in the type, and then I would rasterize it, and then I would take the dodge and burn and actually like.
Oh, add some.
If you can like, if this zooms in, come here. So it's got these. It's got a little darkness on the outside, and it's supposed to mimic like the way a bulb would be, like behind something that's diffusing. And I was actually like hand painting this, and it was taking forever, especially if I like made a spelling error or something, and then I was like, and I'd have to start over. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I could just be using blending options. And then I go in and I add an inner glow and an outer glow, which is also what I'm using in the Hue Don't Own Me, inner glow, outer glow, because it's more flexible. You can just, it's like a smart object. You can change it at any point, and you just make little tweaks depending on the size of your canvas. And so I add that. So there's an inner glow, there's an outer glow, and that sort of starts to make the type glow. But then you've got this kind of like weird glowing thing just sitting in the dark. So what I like to do is, I'm going to just do it right now, but I'll have the other example. I duplicate the background. I put it right behind the type. And then what I do is I put a mask on. And there's two ways to do it. You can do it like this, where you get a brush, and this is way too big of a brush, so I'm gonna just do that. And you're gonna put your flow usually at like 3% when you're really doing this correctly, but for now, because I've done this a million times, I'm gonna just...
Someone says, I am awake in the chat.
I am awake. And you can paint the light in. When you're doing it this way, definitely use like 3% flow and like a big loose brush, and you kind of just get in there and you start to paint in like where you think where you think the light would exist, and you kind of layer it in. And then I usually go in with the eraser, because you're going to end up accidentally lighting up stuff behind the type. But the way I'm imagining this, there is no light behind the type. It would probably have like a dark backing, but it could just it could. There are no rules.
I mean, it flies.
So then
this is floating.
But what you can also do, I'm still on this, is the reversive, where you just paste it on and you just erase out everything around it. Everyone's brains work differently. I'm definitely this person where I just like subtract everything. But some people like to start with nothing and paint on the light.
Yeah.
But I start with the light and just like get rid of everything, and then I fix it. But it ends up being the same thing.
Yeah.
And then when you like tweak it, like here I've gone in and I've erased. You can kind of see the difference, where here a lot of it came behind the shot, but I've gone in here and I've used an eraser now in the same mask and kind of tweaked it, and then I've kind of gone in and played with how the letters might like add some weird shadows in the sand, and I just kind of play with it, and then I get this final image, and it seems like these statements are sort of illuminating these landscapes, but it's all a trick. It's Photoshop.
Oh.
But yeah, I eventually hope to be able to do these installations in real life. I think that a lot of the reasons I've Photoshopped things the way I Photoshop them and actually become so good at Photoshop is because I live in New York City. It's one of the most expensive cities in the world, and two, like I don't have room to store like 6-foot sculptures anywhere, or afford to build them.
Just in case.
So I have these things I dream up, and then I find ways to make them digitally, because I can't always afford to make them in real life. And Photoshop gives me the opportunity to do whatever I want to do. Like, there are no limitations. So yeah, now I'm at this point where I'm finally able to kind of tinker back and forth, where I actually just took a neon class So I learned to bend neon. I made this like weird, I'm not like a natural, I made like a weird like spaghetti monster type neon sculpture, but I was practicing the bends and bonds, so it doesn't matter what I made. I got a lot of different bends in there. And so I think I'm going to continue doing that and maybe get to a point where I can start actually crafting some of these and installing them in the natural landscapes and then shooting them, and depending more on Lightroom than Photoshop. And then studying those and seeing how light actually works, because I'm just making it up right now. I mean, I have an idea of how it works, but if I actually had this, I would know exactly what it looks like when you install something like this 3 feet off the ground on a beach setting. And then in Photoshop down the road, if I needed to fake it, I would have that study to be able to, I'd have the knowledge to know how light works in that context. So that's the goal, eventually.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now also is a giveaway, because
oh yeah,
this is the live stream. Okay, so to get a chance to win a 1-year Creative Cloud subscription, which is something that we're talking about all these apps. If you're already a Creative Cloud member, it will extend your membership. So 1 more year. You have to type the secret keyword in the chat. So the secret keyword will be your nickname or artist name.
Oh yeah?
Okay? So we have Victoria Siemer, but you might know her by a different name. So you have to type it in the chat. And then my robot, not Nightbot, this is my robot.
Nightbot?
Yeah, I read him. He's very nice. We'll pick someone in the chat, okay?
Whoa!
Let's see. So yeah, this is coming, you will see. You won't be able to miss it. Hey Rob.
Hey, what's going on?
Ooh.
Just rocking it. Did you just have your session? Oh, nice. Did you pick a winner? We're actually about to pick a winner too. Or no, the robot's gonna pick a winner. Oh, whoop. You guys figured it out pretty quickly.
Winner, which is something
well,
I can...
Oh God, that's so crazy looking.
Uh-oh.
Whoa, there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, man.
This is a little easier than the talk because I can't see you. Oh man, whoa, hello. Jeez Louise. Whoa. Now you remember that name. You remember that name. You type it into Instagram and you click follow. Just kidding.
This is branding. Yeah? This is how to PR yourself.
Oh man. Thank you. Oh my God, I can't believe it's already been 42 minutes. I could play in Photoshop. Well, I do normally play in Photoshop all day, but
we can do one more play.
Let me think.
Or you wanted to edit a picture maybe that you took? You took a picture recently?
No, I mean, I haven't worked on it yet, so I mean, I could like open it in Lightroom, and I haven't even looked at them, so I have no idea what they look like if we want to do that. No, I mean, I don't think there's any. I can show some of the background. I'll open Lightroom.
I will ask Nightbot to pick someone, okay? So congratulations.
Come on, Nightbot.
AQZip Inc. Actually, it's a company.
It's a company.
It's a company. So congrats, AQZip. Please reach me on Twitter. And my Twitter is mshad.
Import photos and videos.
Okay, congratulations, AQZip.
Where's my desktop? How do I find me?
You're in library.
Can I just drag it in, actually? Wait,
Yeah.
What am I doing here? It's way easier. Import. So I actually this is a super fun thing that I've never done before. I have not ever even looked at these photos because when I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to shoot the sunrise and to also shoot some of these weird gelled landscapes in the desert right before I left. And then I hit the ground running, and I've not even opened my laptop in 3 days, which is crazy to me, other than for my presentation when it broke, and then I had to get another laptop. But so I guess we can kind of look at some of the raws of these gels that I've shot and kind of take a look at, I need to turn this up because I can't see. Take a look at what I've got going on here. So let's see. Like these are like, there's a lot of like test shots in here. I've never even seen these before.
What kind of light do you use?
So this actually, I brought all these lights, and I ended up using this $20 Energizer headlamp, and just like strapping gels to my head and like while I'm working. It was really funny. I always look like a crazy person. That's why I really don't share behind the scenes stuff, because I feel like you guys wouldn't want to see it. And so here I'm like starting to figure it out, where I've used regular light here, and now I'm blasting a little bit blue on the other side, and I'm just sort of playing with the image. I have a feeling I'd probably put the type somewhere in here when I'm just initially looking at these, but I try to do a couple in each color, so that if I do want to merge them together and have a little bit of both worlds, I can, because I have a base photo and multiple gelled photos.
And someone says in the chat, yeah, it could be coral. Yeah, it's true.
But these are bushes and cactuses, which is crazy. And you can see, like, I had my shutter open, so you can. At first, I was like, "What the hell are these things?" Like, because I was like, "Are these bugs?" And then, like, I was like, "Oh God," because I'm a New Yorker. I was like, "Those are stars." I don't see those every day. And so you can see there's like a drone or a plane going by. A lot of people fly drones out in Anza Brega. So these are super fun.
Satellite.
Oh, it could be a satellite, because these were open, like, I think some of these were open for like 15, 20 seconds. Yeah. But yeah, they end up getting these weird, like, underwater vibes. Yeah. And this is like, I haven't even like put this in like through Lightroom yet. This is me just like looking in Lightroom to make sure that everything's in focus, which like the focus is like, perfect. I shoot on an A7R2, mirrorless. And right now I have the new, the 2470 G Master lens, which like just, it eats light beautifully. And so I've been using that on this trip. I bought a macro too, but I ended up not needing that at all. I brought the skin impression stuff with me because I thought like I was gonna have time to like make art, but that was crazy. I barely had time to sleep. Yeah, so this is like what, and I'd go through, and I've got, tons and tons of attempts. Some worked out better than others. This is right before sunrise. And I actually took the car and went alone. And I'm like a sissy. I went by myself to shoot these in the middle of nowhere because all my friends were asleep, and they were I don't know, they just couldn't get up. But I was like, I have to. I only have one day left. And so I went out and I shot these, and then eventually they met up with me. And I'm really excited about the turnout.
Multi-exposure camera on tripod?
No, it's an open shutter, but it's open once. So I set it so that it's open for like, depending on the light, this may have been open for like maybe 5 or 10 seconds because the light was coming in, so I didn't need as much as I needed before. And then all I'm doing to get this light is, because the shutter's open, I have time to like pick up a flashlight, put a gel on it, and then just like, or like in this case it was a headlamp, and just like put a gel on it and like just kind of blast light in different areas. And it's trial and error. You'll see I've done the same one, like this exact shot I did like 5 or 6 times because I just, one, it's also like when you're looking at the preview, it's like this big in a camera, so I can never tell what I'm going to like.
It's going to be so good. I can't wait to see what you will do with this picture.
And so, and then what I do after this is, I'll take one and we'll like develop it a little bit. And I actually somehow lost all my Lightroom presets recently, but that's okay because it's just going to teach me Lightroom better. And I started tinkering. I mean, you can see, I like to play with the color even more, so you can make it even more artificial if you want. Like that's super amazing. I might do something like that. You can actually also see now the clouds in the background, which is disco bush. That's so funny. And so because I see so much light catching right here, and the way I imagine the neon lettering is it's gonna put a certain brightness on top of the object it's closest to. So I'm probably gonna put the neon like right in this area. And then when I bring it into Photoshop, I add like the glowing text, and I'm gonna match the color. That's also what I do. I always make it so I make the type the same color as the setting, so it feels like it's kind of making everything glow, but it's just a trick. And then what I also do is I usually will add, like I'll paint in a little bit of color, and then with a blending mode, like a lighten blending mode, I'll just add that in with an even more vibrant like pink edge, just to like make it even more like neon, because it would have a little bit of a harsher light directly underneath it, or like through the branches, depending on how I do this one. Yeah, and then I also really love split toning, so I'd usually like go in here and like really try to like mess with the colors even more. I'm getting really into green, which I've never really been attracted to until now, but I'm also more connected now to things that look cinematic.
Yeah.
And cinematic imagery is usually a little bit greener.
Bluish greener.
Yeah, it's like a blue-green over what a lot of photographers go on, either like just blue or they'll go very yellow for like a California vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of a sneak peek, and then I'd put it in Photoshop, and then I'd start the whole manipulation process. But for the most part, this whole series, it is in camera. It's just an open shutter. And you're just painting it with gels.
Clarity would behave on this.
Well, it kind of almost makes the bush glow. That bush kind of like stood out now. That poor guy, I forgot to paint him. He's like the only brown bush in like all these other pink bushes. He's like a little painted, but all these other ones got all the attention. But yeah, no, you should experiment if you have an SLR. I mean, I started with the dinkiest, like $400 or $500 SLR. I don't remember which one. It was a Nikon, and then I just tinkered a lot alone because I had just moved to New York City and I was kind of lonely. And then the more I practiced, the better I got, and the more I just Googled anything I didn't know. I Googled, and then somehow I became a photographer.
And you had a series of pictures. I remember, like you photoshopped that got picked by the press. I remember. No?
Oh my God, the Human Error series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big part of my. So Photoshop crashed on me. I actually don't. I don't know how much time do we have?
We can stop whenever we want.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm in no rush. I can actually just open like my talk because I've got them all laid out already.
Oh, okay.
You guys get a little sneak peek into my talk from earlier. So I called this. Well, it was called the Human Error series, but what happened was I was working on something in Photoshop and it crashed. And even though I try to save as often as I can. Sometimes I don't save every 2 seconds, and there's autosave, but it doesn't always catch all the work. And what happened was I was doing something for my full-time job, and it was like a menial thing, like putting icons in circles. Like, it was something where you're like, oh my God, like please, I'm at like number 50, like I don't want to do this anymore, like 25 more and I'm done. And it crashed and it like started back at 0. And I was like, I've got to do all these icons again. And so I took a screenshot because I was going to Photoshop it to say Photoshop broke your heart unexpectedly, and I was going to tweet it. And then when I was Photoshopping that, like a light bulb went off, and I realized how many ways I could start applying this actually to me instead of just like, a stupid Twitter joke. And so I started kind of hoarding these screenshots of error. Like at first I waited for things to go wrong, and then I realized I could just Google all of the error messages. And so I just kind of hoarded all these messages, and then I recreated them in Illustrator as vectors. And so I could edit the text to be whatever I want. Instead of just using the screenshot. I think the first one I actually used a screenshot, like a PNG screenshot, and I just changed the text, but after that I created it as a vector.
Nice.
And so I started applying them to my own life. I usually caption them. The captions were always one option, so in this case, like, are you sure you want to erase all feelings? You better believe I clicked delete. But a lot of them also kind of displayed this sort of frustration where you don't get a choice. It's just like, oh, here it is. Okay. Like, there's nothing you can do about it.
Just wait.
Let it ride or cancel. This one I click snooze. So they went all over the place. I mean, it was just me dealing with my everyday life, heartbreak,
And this series,
futility, mortality. I mean, a lot of things that are pretty uncomfortable, but I kind of put it out there, and it was the first time I really put my emotions just on a silver platter and was like, screw it, like, I don't care what people think. And other people connected with it because I kind of just let go.
Yeah.
And everyone, like, we're human beings, we're all the same, and we all go through the same things. And they're all, on varying levels. We're unique, but the human experience, we can all relate to. And so I think what happened was a lot of people just, the images resonated with them. They were all going through the same thing. And in a way that almost made me feel like I wasn't going through it alone. So then I kept making them. And then it just kind of exploded. And it's kind of the reason I have my following now was this series. And yeah, they put them on Polaroids, and then I actually, more recently, I actually just updated the OS because one of you, I wonder if you're in the crowd, called me out on it. And you're like, hey, that's an OS from like 3 years ago. And I was like, you're right, I should probably update. So I did. I did that like 2 weeks ago because I did a post for I can't remember, it was the Bully Mural project.
Yep.
It was the Remembering to Forget post, and I did that for them. I hadn't done them in a long time. One, because I just wanted to take a break. When you have something kind of blow up and everyone expects it from you, it makes it less fun. But I'm sort of starting to creep back into it again. I also used the same, this is also a little like emotionally ridiculous, but this is the Google Maps UI. So like also being a UX UI designer, I didn't even realize until these series from a few years ago was also kind of dumping itself in my work because you know, I was working with technology all the time, and you know, technology is so ubiquitous. It's like like I have like 2 hard drives right now, a MacBook Pro. I threw my phone on the ground in a panic right before this started. But we have these things kind of glued to us, and so we're so used to seeing the UI like this. Why wouldn't it be like someday? Maybe it will be like kind of just like in our, well, like what Google Glasses tried.
Yeah.
Nice but try. Now even with VR, like I don't know what's going to happen with my art with VR, but I'm excited for the future. But yeah, no. So I use lots of weird elements. This is like, it seems mean, but it's like supposed to be so over the top. It's funny. Like it's supposed to be absolutely ludicrous. Like, wish you were at a lightning bolt. I don't wish any of you were at lightning bolts. Nobody was hurt in the making of this series. Sometimes I'm just over dramatic. But yeah, no. So I guess that's. Are there any like?
Yeah.
Little last minute questions. Audience. Thanks for you guys being so nice to me. I was a little bit worried there were going to be trolls or something.
But no troll for you.
No trolls.
No.
The trolls stayed in the hole.
Okay, thank you, Victoria.
Yeah.
And yeah, Victoria, our last guest from the Adobe live streams. We had about, I think about 30 guests overall over 3 days. Thanks everyone for watching. There will be more live streams for sure on adobelive.com. If you like the stream, make sure to leave some nice feedback. It could be on YouTube, on Twitter. Just it will help us to do more and more live streams. And yeah, thank you, Victoria. It was awesome. Thanks for sharing. I mean, it was great. So creative, yeah. And you will be able to watch a replay of this stream, but also like all the shows that we have over 3 days on adobelive.com. There is a replay tab. Make sure to subscribe to the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel. This is the best way to be notified when there will be a new live stream or when we publish a replay. Bye everyone, and thanks to the team. And yeah, thank you guys. Awesome job, and see you soon on Adobe Live. Bye.
Bye. I can be your troll.
Please troll me.
Please.